greatest college party in Southern Illinois history. Welcome back to another episode. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Cap Tech. The story that follows next is mostly true, but some names have had to be changed to protect the guilty. Stories have also been adjusted to be slightly more family-friendly. When it comes to legendary college parties, you can compare to the chaotic masterpiece that was 402 Elm Street in Carbondale, Illinois, circa 1997. This wasn't just a party. This was an event, a cultural phenomenon that burned itself into the memory of everyone who was lucky, or unlucky, enough to be there. Let's set the stage. 402 Elm Street was your typical college house, slightly leaning, perpetually sticky floors, and a vibe that screamed, "We make poor decisions here." It was the kind of place where the refrigerator's contents were legally classified as biohazards, and the couch had seen things no couch should ever see. That night, the Nashville crew rolled in from Washington County, bringing with them a band named Cherry Bomb. Their lead singer, a robust fellow in a Mexican wrestling mask. Their stage, a stack of box crates in the living room. Their set list, unforgettable. The crowd, absolute chaos with just the right amount of questionable decisions. The night started innocently enough, as these things always do. 4 kegs were tapped, and a guy stationed at the front door charged $3 for entry, his pockets bulging with dollar bills and a weird collection of bottle caps he insisted were lucky. Somewhere in the melee was at least one professor, sipping beer and pretending they weren't silently judging their life choices, or enjoying themselves a little too much. Out front, Horse, yes, that's what everyone called him, decided to put on a show of his own. Armed with a baseball bat and an impressive lack of inhibition, he obliterated a TV in the front yard to the roaring approval of the crowd. It was the kind of destruction that could have landed him on the evening news, but instead, it made him a legend. Not one to disappoint, Horse took his act to the basement for an encore. This time, the victim was a vacuum cleaner. The cheers were deafening, and someone might have started chanting, "Horse, horse, horse." It was the closest thing to gladiatorial combat Carbondale had ever seen. Meanwhile, the fire chief made a surprise appearance, not to break up the party, but to casually question one drunken roommate about a recent incident involving a frat house and a lighter. The roommate, holding a red Solo cup and swaying slightly, gave a statement so incoherent it could have been mistaken for interpretive poetry. Classic small-town college drama. Out in the street, the Clark Mafia made their presence known, adding their unique brand of mischief to the mix. Firecrackers were going off, shopping carts were weaponized, and at one point a car trying to parallel park smashed into the vehicles in front and behind it. The driver got out, examined the damage, shrugged, and went inside to grab a beer. Nobody even flinched. This was 402 Elm Street, after all. Inside, the basement had its own ecosystem, complete with resident chipmunks who seemed entirely unfazed by the chaos above. Rumor has it they were the original tenants and charged the humans rent in the form of spilled beer and potato chips. Upstairs, Cherry Bomb was mid-set, cranking out a cover of Throttle's 5 Mile Smile that sounded just off-key enough to remind you they weren't professionals, well, at least not yet, but nobody cared. The dance floor, if you could call it that, was a sloppy sea of flailing limbs and spilled drinks, and then there was Horse's grandfather. This man, a legend in his own right, showed up midway through the party, wearing suspenders and an air of unshakable confidence. He promptly drank the kids under the table, regaling them with stories of his own wild youth that made their antics seem tame. He left at dawn, tipping his hat and muttering something about showing these kids how it's done. As this particular night reached its climax, riots broke out on the Carbondale Strip. Students took to the streets in a drunken display of rebellion, turning the quiet college town into a scene straight out of an apocalyptic movie. Trash cans were overturned, streetlights were climbed, and someone inexplicably started selling toasted bagels out of a shopping cart. But back at 402 Elm, the party raged on, a beacon of wild energy amidst the chaos. By the time the sun rose over Carbondale, 402 Elm Street was a war zone. Empty kegs, shattered glass, and the faint echo of Cherry Bomb's last song lingered in the air. The couch had somehow ended up on the roof, and nobody knew where the vacuum cleaner went. It wasn't just a party, it was history. And for those who were there, It's a story they'll tell and embellish for the rest of their lives, heck, sometimes even making things up. After all, folks, the horse's grandfather did not even wear suspenders. The morning after the party, the house's occupants would stumble over to a nearby funeral home for a free breakfast. Don't ask why, just accept that it happened. The funeral director, clearly not amused, would only shake his head and stare up at his heavens as hungover students devoured pancakes and bacon like they'd never eaten before. 402 Elm Street, Carbondale, 1997, the greatest college party Southern Illinois ever saw. Thank you for watching Cap Tech. Please subscribe, like, and share.
There's a place in Carbondale, it's a story to be told. 402 Elm Street where the night was pure gold. Kicks were flowing, music loud but band on great stage. Cherry bomb lit up the room, unleashed the college rage. At 402 Elm, weddings were made, broken TVs and vacuums, memories that won't fade. Riots in the streets and chipmunks in the den. We'll never see a party like 402 again. Took the spotlight, bat in hand, smashed a TV in the yard, became the king of the land. Encore in the basement, vacuum letters do. Cheers shook the rafters, no space left in the room. Buy a crack is a shopping cart, the clock mafia near parallel parking disasters, but no one shed a tear. Even Grandpa showed up, drank us under the floor. Raised his glass, tipped his hat, and walked right out the door. The TVs and vacuums, memories that won't fade. Riots in the streets and chipmunks in the den. We'll never see a party like 402 again. At 402 Elm where legends are made, broken TVs and vacuums, and memories that won't fade. Riots in the streets and chipmunks in the den. We'll never see a party like 402 again. A professor out of the corner pretending he's not there. A grilled cheese cart in the riot, smoke filling the air. The fire chief stopped by, rumors flew like sparks as chaos reigned supreme under Carbondale stars. Morning came too early, the house of war told. Couches on the rooftop and debris we didn't know. To the funeral home for breakfast, a feast to clear our heads with pancakes and a nod. We rose from the dead at 402 Elm. At 402 Elm where legends are made, broken TVs and vacuums and memories that won't fade. Riots in the streets and chipmunks in the den. We'll never see a party like 402 again. So raise a toast to 402, the house that broke the mold. When nights were wild, reckless, the stories still get told. Carbondale shining, moment of a party without end. 402 Elm Street forever, our old friend. At 402 Elm Street, forever our old friend. Came too early, the house of war-torn told. Couches on the rooftop and debris we didn't know. To the funeral home for breakfast, a feast to clear our heads with pancakes and a nod.